Hello friends. In today's video I want to share with you how much an esthetician or a lash extension specialist can earn in the USA, how to set prices for your services, and what should not be done when setting prices and building a price list. All of this in today's video. Stay with me. First, let's talk about how much an esthetician can earn. I mention aesthetics just briefly because, for example, when we moved to America, I worked as an esthetician 50-50, doing lash extensions and providing facials. Now I only do lash extensions to save time. I will summarize this question and we will simply analyze how much an esthetician can earn. First, we will start by figuring out how much an esthetician or a lash extension specialist can earn. We will take the average service cost, so we don't have to analyze each one individually. But since I'm currently only working with lash extensions, lashes, although I used to do both aesthetic services and lashes, but today, for the sake of saving time and to avoid confusing you, we will analyze the average service cost and understand how much can be earned. First, your earnings depend on whom you work for, if I may put it correctly, whether you work in a salon or have your own business. For example, each state has its own rules. In Pennsylvania, when we lived there, I worked in a salon. There are two options for work, either on a commission basis or gone by renting. Either you work on commission and pay a percentage of the services, or you rent a booth. When you are just starting out, it is more advantageous to work on commission, because if you have few clients and you immediately go for renting, you might not even earn enough to cover the rent. Therefore, at the beginning of your career, it's better to work on commission when you have a client and you pay a portion to the salon. When you have a lot of clients, of course, it becomes more advantageous to work on rent. You pay a portion for the rent and keep the rest for yourself. I worked in a salon on commission because we had just moved to America and I didn't have many clients. And the owner would pass her clients to me. And that's how I started working and earning money. Currently, we live in Florida, and here the system is a bit different. Here, the law allows you to start your own business, to open, to create a studio at home, but there are many rules. All rules must be followed. And in that case, you can open a company and work for yourself. This is allowed only in a very small number of states, so not everyone can do it this way. Therefore, we will consider the average, since on average most cosmetologists and eyelash extension specialists work in salons. Also, your earnings will depend on how much you work part-time or full-time. For example, I have small children, so I work part-time while they are at school. Therefore, my income is also lower compared to those who work full-time. That is, first, your earnings will depend on where you work, whether it's a salon or it's your own business, whether it's commission-based or renting a booth. And the second is, whether you work full-time or part-time, half a day or a full day, the second factor that affects our earnings is the price of the service. You cannot set prices. How to say it correctly? Just off the top of my head. When you set prices for your services, if you work for yourself, for example, renting an office, the first thing is to check the prices. specifically in your city. You can't, if I live in Florida, in Jacksonville, look at prices in Miami or California or New York, because I won't be competitive. If I set prices in a small town like those in a big city, where, for example, the prices for extensions are much higher, I will be left without clients. It's great, of course, if you are a super cool master who does things like no one else can, and then you can significantly raise your prices. But when you are just starting out and no one knows you yet, find out the price in your city and then lower the price by $10, $15. Don't lower the prices too much. For example, a girl trained with me and she set her extension price at $40. I said, "You are not earning anything at all. You are putting yourself at a loss. You can't do that. You should earn for this work, it's your time. Yes, it's practice, but yes, you might not be doing everything perfectly like other professionals in your state or those you aspire to be like. But you shouldn't work at a loss. Firstly, it greatly scares away clients. For example, if I see someone doing nails for $20, $30, $40, I won't go there. Why so cheap? Maybe some materials are from AliExpress or something. Well, the first human factor is if the price is too low, it repels people. So one extreme when we set prices. First, when we significantly underprice. And the second extreme is when we significantly overprice. For example, I talked to a girl and she said to me, "Oh, why are your lashes so cheap? You do good work, have such experience, you train masters. It shouldn't be like that." If you compare, she works in Miami and I work in Jacksonville. I can't charge $200 for extensions because, in my opinion, in the city, the average price for classic extensions is $120. And despite my practice, my experience, the maximum due to my experience and my good work, I can understand raising it by $10 or $20, but I can't increase prices and do it like in another state. Yes, perhaps the people who are used to me, they love me, love how I do eyelash extensions, my work. Maybe there's some human factor. It might still work, and they will continue to come to me even for $200 for classic extensions. But the rest of the people will go looking for something cheaper. That is, when we set higher prices, we need to have a reason why we are doing it. And then we will discuss how to raise prices, and in which cases they need to be raised so that, for example, I arrived in the city at night, I started working, and I set my price for extensions at $20 or $15 below the average price in my city. In about a year, maybe a year and a half, when I realized that my entire schedule was full and new clients were still asking for appointments, I raised my prices. In such a case, it's permissible. When you see that you have already built a client base and have a lot of work, then you can start reaching a higher level. The average price in your city, to attract clients, you slightly lower the price. When you have already established a client base in your city, then you can slightly raise your prices and reach the level of other professionals. And when can we raise prices? Above the level of other professionals in my city. The first is the quality of work. If you see that you have reached a level where your work is of higher quality than other professionals in your city, You can find this on Instagram, look at the pictures, and it becomes immediately clear, especially if it's extensions. So you see that you have already reached a higher level. Then, with years of practice, the more experience and practice you have, the more this is considered normal. To raise prices, third, it's master classes, training, additional, seminars. If you travel, constantly learn, invest in your education. You reach new levels, bring something new. You invest money in this, invest money in your education. And it's normal when you grow, the quality and level of your work grow, to raise the price of your service. Don't be afraid if you are a good master. You have great work and you work full-time and you have prices are at or below the level of the average price in your city, and you get very tired from the flow of clients, but you earn as much as other masters or even masters below, or you are above the level of Sarbat, earn just like masters who, for example, have just started working as beginners while you already have experience and good work. This is not right. When we raise prices, some people will leave, but because you raise the price and people who know you work well stay with you, you will earn the same amount with fewer clients. And considering that you have not full-time because you raised the price, some people left, you have the opportunity to take on new clients. Once you have raised the price for the service, for example, I currently have I have a client base that I'm working with right now. New clients I am not accepting because I am now at a stage where I want to focus more on teaching other professionals online with a school. I have plans and goals for the future, but they are kind of moving in a different direction. I don't have the goal of constantly doing eyelash extensions, so I'm not taking on other clients. But there are cases when someone really wants very much for me to do their eyelash extensions, then I will set the price a little higher. Well, you might say that's not right, but there are people, my clients, who have been consistently coming to me, even since I first arrived in the city. And I am glad that they continue to be with me to this day. And I love them like my own. For them, I don't raise prices, because for me, they are not just a way to earn more. I simply love them as my regular clients. Also, when we set your prices, it's important to consider the cost of materials. I always advocate for working with quality materials, and I cannot set the price at or even below the average cost level. Not even because I have a lot of practice, good work, I am developing, learning and so on, but because I buy quality, good materials. And the cost price of the extension service, it turns out to be expensive for me. And if I divide the amount for a classic extension, for example, calculate the cost of materials, everything else, and break it down by the number of working hours, then I cannot set the price at the level of my city or even lower. That is, when you set the price, you must consider the cost of materials, rent, whether you work on a commission, because if you do and you give half to the salon, then accordingly your price should be higher, because you also need to earn something plus the materials. That is, when you set the price for a service, it shouldn't just be something you made up yourself. You sit down, you calculate how much your costs are, materials, how much your expenses are for your materials, for rent. You take your hourly rate, how many hours you work, part-time or full-time. And then, accordingly, from these hours, you understand what price you need to set to earn, breaking down the cost of the service per hour so that you have a decent income per hour. Not your work in general, the whole day there, but specifically breaking it down per hour, dividing the total amount by the number of hours with all your calculations, and you understand that if you have accounted for all your rent, service costs, the cost of materials was broken down, what do you get for the number of your hours? If it's less than the average hourly wage in your city, then you definitely need to raise the price. That is to say, and also you understand how demanding your work is, that you are not just, of course there is no easy job, that's the right thing to say, but you also understand the workload and intensity of your work. That is to say, physically demanding work should always be paid more. That is to say, you understand also, break it down, calculate your hourly rate. Does your income per hour match the average hourly wage in your state? If it does, great. If it doesn't, raise your prices. And if you feel it's not enough, you spend a lot on materials, on rent, again, raise your prices. And again, we raise prices, taking into account what we have discussed. If there are no people at all, no clients, and you are a beginner, work while you have them. When you have many people, then start raising prices. Also, in the previous video, I talked about how to speed up the working time of a lash extension specialist so that you can accept more clients. And accordingly, if you can, whether it's a 5-hour shift, if it's part-time or if it's full-time, schedule to accommodate more people, thereby earning more. You can go watch that video on how you can speed up and start earning more. If you reach a level where you speed up, work quickly and efficiently, you can take on more clients, raise your rates, increase the price of your service. The work of a cosmetologist or a lash extension specialist is often underestimated. Well, like, you can earn something. It's good and very good to earn, especially if you work quickly and competently. You've gained experience and are already confident as a full-fledged business. You work and you can become independent, self-sufficient woman. If you're not married, of course. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you still have questions on this topic or on other topics, in the video description I'll leave links to my Instagram and Telegram where you can write to me and ask questions. I will gladly help you and answer. Also, for those who work as eyelash extension specialists or want to start working, I offer you a course, an author's course for eyelash extension specialists, eyelash extensions from A to Z, in which I will teach you and guide you into this profession, where you will work independently, earn money, and work for your own pleasure. Also, subscribe to my channel so you don't lose track of me. I share tips and hacks for eyelash extension specialists, and also like this video so that my channel can grow. And I thank you for your help, support, for your comments and likes. Also, if you are interested in any other topic and you want me to help you understand it, you can write in the comments under this video so that I can record another video from my practice, from my experience, to help you. Thank you for your attention and see you in the next video.